Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
We are learning Mishna Yisika, Perek Gimel, Mishnah Yud Gimel, Chapter 3, Mishnah 13. Before we begin, today is the day of learning has been sponsored by today's learning has been sponsored by Richard Goldstein. Commemorate the yard site of his father, Joe Goldstein, Yosef Ben Zalman. Neshama Shavan Aliyah. Also, our learning should be for the merit for Chai Tzipara Bas Tzvi Zelig. The Neshama Shavan Aliyah. Okay. Perek Gimel, Chapter 3, Mishnah Gimel, Mishnah 13. Yom Tev Harishon Shel Chag. The first day of Sukkot, Shachal Yos B'Shabbos, that fell out on Shabbos. Kol Ha'am, all the people, would take their lulavim to shul before Shabbos. Does this sound odd to you? Shabbos? Taking a lulav esrog?
No.
This is not Beis HaMikdash. It says the Beis HaKnesses. Everybody takes the lulavim to the Beis HaKnesses. So the answer is that there was a certain point of time that even after the sages decreed that you don't take lulav and esrog on Shabbos because we're afraid you may come to carry it in a Rishus from a public domain. That did not apply if the first day of Yom Tov fell out on Shabbos. Meaning, if the first day of Sukkot, which is the day that Torah obligates you to take lulav and esrog, fell out on Shabbos, so then you would not. So then you still would take it on Shabbos. It was only if Shabbos basically was Chol HaMoed. Okay, then that was when the decree was don't take lulav and esrog, and that decree that the Chachamim made says here that the mitzvah is not observed on Shabbos was even in the Beis HaMikdash, which typically these kinds of things in the Beis HaMikdash don't apply. But again, we'll see further on in the Mishnah about the Beis HaMikdash, but that's what they bring down here in the notes, that decree applied even in the Beis HaMikdash on Shabbos. However, it did not apply when the first day of Sukkot was on Shabbos. That's when it's a Torah obligation, lulav and esrog everywhere, and that is where the decree did not apply. So therefore, it was so now the first day of Sukkot was Shabbos. Okay, now how do you get lulav and esrog to shul? They had an eruv? Not necessarily. They actually didn't, and therefore, how did they get lulav and esrog to shul? The answer is they brought it before Shabbos. How about just doing lulav and esrog at home? When I got to bring it to shul, just do it at home. What's the answer?
Because maybe then you wouldn't be allowed to. They had left the home to come to the Beis HaMikdash.
No. This is not talking about the Beis HaMikdash. It's talking about outside the Beis HaMikdash. The answer is you want to have it when you say halal. You want to have the lulav and esrog when you say halal. And halal's going to be in shul. So therefore, they made sure to have the lulav and esrog brought to shul before Shabbos. L'machras, the next day, mashkim and uvoyin, they got up early and came. See, on Yom Tov, they got up early to go to davening, it says.
Yeah.
Mashkim, they woke up early. Okay. Kol echa ve'echad makar shalai. Everybody came to shul and recognized his lulav. You know how they did that exactly? They all kind of look the same, but they did it. V'noitlai, and each person took their lulav and esrog. They recognized theirs either because where they put it, or because they made some kind of a sign, or because they kind of got they gained some kind of a familiarity with their lulav, and they were able to point it out, pick it out. Okay, so each went out to take his own lulav. How come each went to take his own lulav? Would have been the big deal if I would have taken somebody else's lulav. Person would have I take yours, you take mine. That couldn't have worked. The answer is no. Because the sages said, which really means the sages derived from the words of the Torah, a person cannot fulfill his obligation on the first day of Sukkot with his friend's lulav. We're not even talking about stealing it. We're talking about borrowing it. We're talking about using his. You can't, on the first day of Sukkot, we learn from the words of the Torah, it has to be your lulav. And therefore, they had to make sure they made sure to take theirs and not somebody else's. Now, theoretically, if somebody wants to gift his to you, he could do that. He could gift it to you, but at the end of the day, it has to be yours. So instead of everybody gifting their lulavim to the other person in case they land up with the wrong one, everybody was able to recognize theirs and take it, and not have to go through a whole process of everybody, to give it as a gift to each person. Ushar Yom Sachag, during the rest of Sukkot, all the other days of Sukkot, then you could fulfill your obligation with your friend's lulav. You could borrow somebody's lulav the rest of Sukkot. But on the first day, it has to be yours, and therefore, when they came to shul, they had to make sure to take theirs and not somebody else's. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi.